presidency of the different working groups also. And we have looked at the participation as remote participation as an option. However, we continue saying that with these different measures, the participation in these countries has not increased considerably. So it's through this initiative that there is a methodology proposed to explain more to the countries the best way in which they can participate. It proposes different units in which it talks about how to be able to make a proposal, what the format is that these proposals should be made in, the correct way in which they can go and seek out support, as well as the approval support that those contributions would pass through. And so that's what this initiative is seeking to do. And we bring it here to the in coalition to the PCC1 because we think it's very important that everyone be able to have access to this information. So this is I'm here at your disposal if anybody would like to say anything. Thank you. Thank you to the ITU. Are there any comments? Thank you to the ITU for this presentation. The next document that is a part of the agenda is 3887, which is an informative document presented and distributed for quite a while within the PCC1. It's a document on behalf of the presidency, and it's talking about different technical aspects linked to remote participation. It is not a document, there's no need to discuss it in depth, because it is a document that is basically for technical issues, and the issue of participation, non-remote participation, was discussed in the first plenary. Just wanted to mention the existence of this document, and it is basically an informative document. The next document, which is 3909, is a document presented also by Paraguay in this case, which is a report from the ITU. So Paraguay has the word to present now. Thank you, Mr. Chair. With document 3909, the Paraguayan administration, as a part of the study group 1 for the sector of and development of the ITU, presents a report regarding the last meeting of the reportship group of this commission that was held in April in Geneva, and contributions were sent to it, with the hope to be able to strengthen links between CETEL and the ITU regarding the resolution 62341 in 2014. There's an invitation for the different administrations in the CETEL to contribute to the next meeting of the Commission of Studying Study 1, with the importance of the different experiences and best practices and visions throughout the Americas are evident in the final reports of these different reporterships, final reports. Up to date now, there's a questionnaire that is available online regarding the appropriation and use and undue use of the course regarding membership of the reportership group regarding question 6. The different administrations are also invited to participate in person or remotely in the meeting of Commission 1 of the UTI, which will be held on the 19th to the 23rd of September of 2016. Thank you. Thank you, Paraguay. Are there any comments regarding this document? It's an informative document that invites countries to participate in the study group of the ITU. We have another document from the ITU, 3910, which according to the last study group 3, regarding the ITUT. Please go ahead, ITU. I'm sorry, it's this document actually is from Paraguay. Sorry about that. Please go ahead, Paraguay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. With this document, the administration of Paraguay, as the president of the regional group of the study group 3 for Latin America and the Caribbean, of the standardization of the telecommunications of the ITU presents this report regarding the last meeting of the study group 3 held in Geneva from the 22nd of February to the 1st of March of 2016, in which contributions are can be sent to the next meeting, and the participation of in the future meetings, so being able to strengthen the relationship between CITEL and the ITU. There is a table that has been taken out of the final report of the study group 3, in which you can look at the different recommendation projects that have been determined by the study group for final appropriation in the AMNT, the 16th AMNT, including the recommendation 52, 53, 71, 97, and another that still doesn't have a number assigned to it. The next meeting of the regional study group of study group 3 for Latin America and the Caribbean will be held from the 16th. It's the 17th of June in Brasilia, of June, in which will be a part of the ITUT meetings. Thank you. Thank you, Paraguay. We have other documents, informative documents that are additional informative documents. One is 3950, the other is 3955. 3950 is from CITEL. The Secretariat, could you please present the document 3950, please? Thank you, Mr. Chair. What we are looking with this document is pulling together the outcomes of the agreements that came about with the different institutions, training centers, because there have been scholarships that have been that are agreed to be implemented in this year, and some of the partners that have helped us, as was discussed in the first day. I would like to talk about these courses, and also in reference to the budget that was elaborated by the OAS, so as to be able to continue forward with these trainings. One thing that's important is, as administration and as members, is to spread the word within your countries about the dates and these courses, which we are going to share with you, so that you can, on behalf of, as interested parties, be able to encourage people to sign up in time, and also so as to be able to assure that the people who participate will then use the information obtained. This is a comment regarding based on the past experience and other opportunities and other experiences, which after participating in a project, one certain person has been chosen, who may not have the permission to travel or the funding to travel, we're able to. So that we want to continue discussing the possibility of continuing forward with this option of providing scholarships funding. Thank you. According to the planning, the agenda that was distributed today, we have had to finish this plenary because at 5:15 the working group to prepare for and follow up on conferences. Sister, I understand that there is an interest on behalf of some countries to present documents and discuss some other issues as well. But we propose that since the calendar says that, since the agenda says that, proposes this order. So the working group, there's been important progress on behalf of the working group. I'm asked the person in charge of the working group if it still is necessary to use this space, the working group that's following up on conferences, or could we use this space to continue moving forward with some other decisions that are ready for the plenary's review? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Alongside here with the vice chair of the working group, it is true that we still have documents to review. We still have a document to review, as well as reviewing the list of proposals for the World Assembly on Telecommunications Standardization. We think it is possible to be able to dedicate this afternoon space so that the plenary continues moving forward, with the understanding that there will be, as soon as these documents are approved, we could continue on with our work tomorrow in the session that is assigned to us. Thank you to Mexico for giving us this extra time. We know that there are delegates that tomorrow will not be able to be present, and there are decisions, some decision-based projects that are ready to be approved. So we then would finish. Given the time that we have 45 more minutes. So I propose that the following. How many decisions, how many projects that implicates or that need some kind of decision made does the development group have, Dominican Republic? How many projects would you put forth for consideration? Thank you, Mr. Chair. We would have, for the development group, we have, for the prevention reportership, we have 3 resolution projects that are ready. For the ad hoc group, we have 1 document that's ready, a resolution project also, that would be 4. In the group for regional initiatives, we have 1 resolution project. And so right now that's a total of 6. In broadband, we have 1 document ready from the seminar, which is a resolution. The broadband index, so that's 8 total. And the technical folder, no, the revision hasn't been uploaded. We have 8, so I would like to, for example, if yesterday, with Comcitel, if we were able to present the report yesterday, and there were some contributions that were added from Paraguay and some recommendations, and we would like to leave that one till the end, so as to be able to give Canada also the opportunity to present their observation to that document with CITEL, so as to have it ready, so that if you are in agreement tomorrow with these different additions, we could give it a final review, a final presentation tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, Dominican Republic. Thank you. We appreciate your optimism regarding the time. Those are 8 documents. We're going to see in what order we put them in. Regulatory policies group, how many documents do you have ready? Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have 1 decision in both languages, 1 decision that we still need to translate to English, and another that is still being elaborated. So we have 3. Just 1. So I would propose to the plenary that we look at, if this sounds all right with you, to talk about the resolutions that are ready, the ones from the development group. So try to move forward, progress forward as much as possible with those resolutions. There are many that are quite quick to process, and others that we need to look at. Although we could make some different adjustments. And then to move forward with the regulations. And then, if there is more space, continue on with other topics related to other issues. So is the plenary in agreement with this proposal? With this agenda proposal? Really what we're trying to do is to be able to move through and finish the documents that are ready, review the documents that are ready to be reviewed as quickly as possible. Please go ahead, Canada. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So if we're understanding correctly, the document 3947 we are going, which is about the TICS Alliance, we will see tomorrow to bring up any questions or concerns. The document 3947 continues to be in the agenda. If we can look at it today, we will look at it today. And if not, it is open for discussion also tomorrow. Understand that there are various delegations that would like to contribute to this document, and the idea it is in the agenda and has been in the agenda since the beginning as a part of the PCC1. So I'd like to invite the chair of the development group to present documents. Go ahead, Dominican Republic. Thank you. I would then invite the United States to present your 3 projects for resolution for the rapporteurship of prevention and mitigation. Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Comenzaríamos con el
3879 Revision 1. 3879 Revision 1 is a draft resolution on the creation of the Preparedness Coordination Group in Emergency Telecommunications for the Americas. This, just like we all do, if we skip to the bottom on page 2 at the resolve section, you will see a very long list of resolves of basically steps that this group wishes to take. I will not read them because they're quite lengthy, and most delegates have had the opportunity to review, because this document is a combination of this original plus a contribution 3915, and the administrations of the United States, Dominican Republic, and others within our group work together to combine them into one. So, Mr. Chairman, I submit document 3879 Revision 1, draft resolution for your consideration.
Gracias, Estados Unidos. Quería saber cuáles son los principales cambios del revisado 1 respecto de la versión anterior. ¿Me puede informar, Estados Unidos?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call on Joe Burton, who worked very closely to mesh the 2 documents together. I don't think there was a great change. I think we were just combining them into 2, one for response and one for preparedness. But if you will permit, Joe, could you comment on this, please?
Adelante, Joe.
Joe.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Habían 2 documentos.
Republic document resolution 3879 and 3915. And what we've done is we've worked, we in the Dominican Republic, we combined both into one document, which is now 3879. The 2 documents had 2 different groups. One was, and please, Dominican Republic, correct me if I'm wrong, but one had a more of a preparedness group and one had more of a response group. So we took those functions and we combined them both into 3879 and focused it on preparedness and capacity building to have a preparedness coordination group for the Americas that will that will guide capacity building on particular areas of experience that CTEL administrations may want, and will also work with the CTEL Secretariat to create opportunities for member states to network, coordinate, and gain more experience in the way of email groups, so that, like for preparedness and response, and for a pilot program to create a situational awareness call when a disaster comes, so that administrations may learn from the country in crisis what's happening, what's needed, and offer assistance.
Gracias, Estados Unidos. No sé si hay algún comentario sobre este.
Thank you, United States. I don't know if there are any comments regarding this document. If not, señor presidente, para precisión.
It's actually combined and the resulting is the revision 1. There was an original 3879. This is the revision 1, which is the combination. Thank you.
Gracias. Efectivamente es el revisado.
Yes, this is revision 1, 3879 revision 1. Are there any comments? If not, we could approve it and move on to the next document. Go ahead, United States. Solo quisiera hacer un
The resolution requests that the CTEL Secretariat send out what is called a roster of experts, which for this meeting was document 3913. And that is a listing of various aspects of disaster response that CTEL administrations, we'd like to know if they want to learn more or have more information or training on them. And these are things like emergency communications planning, coordination, damage assessment, early alerting, planning for greater network resilience, pre-positioning of equipment, and policies to enable restoration, among others. So part of this resolution requests that the CTEL administration send out this roster, which is also more of a questionnaire, so that we can learn from administrations where their interests are and where the needs are, so that we can design training and capacity building. So that's just one additional aspect I wanted to mention. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, United States. This is document 3913. Go ahead, United States.
Just
Muchas gracias, señor.
Keep us on track. Am I correct that the room has just now approved 3879 revision 1? They approved that, is that correct?
Es correcto. Yo lo que quisiera es que nos diga cuáles son los documentos.
The only thing that I would like to know is that what are the documents from the rapporteurship that we are going to look at now? Which documents?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. 3879 revision 1 approved. Let's now consider 3913, which is related, and it does instruct the Secretariat and have a couple functions in the first few paragraphs, the roster, with the explanation of United States. I need to add nothing further, but I submit this for your consideration, please.
Sí, estoy revisando el documento.
Yes, I'm looking at the document 3913, which is the document that we are discussing right now. It has an introduction, or at least the version that I have here in the collaborative space, the online space, in which there's an introduction and a roster or a o una plantilla. Okay, what does it need? What needs to happen? A decision or need this?
We consulted and we decided that administratively to accomplish this is to put the text in paragraph 3 and 4 for the CTEL Secretariat to circulate the roster of experts questionnaire in the document and to combine and collect the responses and assist in the creation of experts email group, which is in the bottom of the roster. So this is the complete draft roster that had just previously been explained. Does that address your concern, Mr. Chairman?
Okay, muchas
gracias. ¿Esa es su pregunta? Yes, so it's like an annex to the document 30. So basically, this is a complementary document. Are there any comments? If not, let's pass on to the next document. Go ahead, United States. Gracias, señor presidente. Tengo un documento más para su consideración.
Document 3880 revision 1. 3880 revision 1 is a draft resolution for the identification of frequencies for terrestrial radio communications in the Americas region for disasters. This is based upon contributions from the Dominican Republic and Mexico. And skipping to the bottom on the resolves, you see that there are 4 resolves. I should highlight that 2 and 3 are in effect what we call at ITU liaison statements to PCC2 to request information from them back to us. With that, Mr. Chairman, I submit this draft resolution to your meeting for consideration.
Resolución a su consideración. Thank you to the United States. Basically, it's a resolution that requests member states to identify radio communication frequencies for use in situations of disaster in Region 2, countries in Region 2. And ask CITEL institutions and a consultative committee 2 to study different options so as to be able to identify different frequencies or bands so as to be able to facilitate communications in case of disaster. Are there any comments regarding this? No, so we approve this resolution. Have any other resolutions in this reportership? No, muchas gracias, señor presidente. Eso ya completa los 3 que teníamos para su consideración. So we're going to continue on with the development group of Dominican Republic. Thank you. And I would invite the ad hoc president to present document 3940, which is a resolution project. Mexico, please go ahead. Mexico, we'd like to ask you. Go ahead, Mexico. 3940. The president of the ad hoc group is not present, but we are many representatives of the Mexican delegation. We have from CCP, PCC do 58 adopted in the 17th PCC meeting for the development of projects or human resources and financial resources. Please don't go down yet. So as to be able to promote access, use, and leadership of women in the development of TICs. This is a part of the different initiatives that have been taken about by the ad hoc group, which was conformed as a part of a PCC. And what we're trying to do is to update the periods of time and the activities that need to occur. If we can be able to go down to the bottom, please, of the document.
Thank you. As you can see, in yellow, we have marked all the activities that are going to be updated, especially the date of events where we're making all the corresponding amendments to be able to be updated with the compliance with these activities. Basically, we would like to submit to your consideration this updating to this resolution. Thank you. Thank you, Mexico. The resolves modify the activity calendar within the framework of this project, ITC development, linked with women's leadership. Do we have any comments? If not, well, this resolve is approved. If the development group has another project to be approved, I would like you to make a change in your role as the rapporteur of our group. We have 4 documents to show. the 7804, you might say if Mexico is going to present it, and the 136R2 and 3836R3, that is the contents, and 3971, which is the technical file of the broadband contents. You said 3877? 3877 is the first one. There is a review 4 that we would like Mexico to present it with the contributions of El Salvador, but you're the rapporteur. 3826 are 2, which is the seminar of the first day, which is a document that was worked by 3 countries, but under the responsibility of the U.S., and 3836R3, which is the table of contents of the broadband, and 3971, which is a decision to request information for the contents and applications file. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Rapporteur. Thank you, Dominican Republic. We are going to start with document 3877R4. This is a document, really a recommendation. Sorry. No, it's a resolve. First it was a recommendation, but now it's a resolve that states the implementation of recommendation ITU 19 for the region of the Americas. And this resolve that was submitted by Mexico recommends the countries to opt for options for the ITU 19 in the Americas. Basically, what is proposed here is that the documentation, systematization, and exchange of documents and experiences of the national initiatives with the instrumentation of this recommendation ITU 19, and that tend the needs of communications in the rural areas, and the agreements for communication and cooperation for pilot projects related to the ITU 19, and the identification of standard and the electric spectrum for the ITU 19, and D, that is to indicate the successful activities in conformance with this special rapporteurship for the recognition and support. Here we would have to see for the recognition and support for its sustainability. I would like Mexico to help me with the drafting of this one, how we could improve for the recognition and support of its sustainability. I don't know if in English it's clearer because it says para in Spanish. Through public policies that are in harmony with the ITU 19. So we would have to change preposition para to put de. And then we have a task for the development group, and invites them to contribute to the documentation, systematization, recompilation, and dissemination of the ITU 19, and the executive secretary to promote collaboration and cooperation among the member states, the regional office, and stakeholders. Basically, this is the result of this resolution, so we submit it to your consideration. No comments, so then we're going to approve this document 38 and 77 R4. Now we're going to assess or present the document 3826 R2, which is a document that presents a seminar. This is a seminar on the development of the broadband. It was presented by the US and then it received contributions from Mexico and Peru. If you accompany me to the resolve. Basically, the resolve of this document is the approval of a seminar, a one-day seminar titled the Digital Inclusion and the Option of the Broadband in the Americas that will be held on Monday before the next CCP1 meeting, and designates the coordinators from the United States and Peru. In the case of Mexico, it was suggested to have the Argentinian delegate Salon. And finally, we approved a list of topics that are in the annex. There are 7 topics. And the idea is for this seminar to talk about topics that have to do with the policies for the infrastructure of the broadband and market reforms and spectrum related issues, successful experiences in networks, national networks in broadband fiber, and policies that promote the application of broadband applications like e-commerce, e-health, e-government, and applications in emergencies, and also methodologies of work and action lines linked with the financing of the development of this broadband. So this obviously is a draft of the topics that would be included in this seminar, and we believe that there are several topics that could be approached or addressed in the next months or weeks. When we decide on the panels, we can kind of refine the final content of this seminar. Do we have any comments on this proposal? So this resolve is approved. And the next document is 3836. Before that one, that is a little bit more complicated, could we see 3971, which is a document submitted by Colombia? And this one is a very simple decision that has to do with the updating of a technical file. On applications for and contents for the social inclusion and equality. Basically, this is a decision that wants to request the member states to request that the member states to send their contributions to the application file for social inclusion and equality, whose contents were approved previously through the resolution of 238 CCP. And then the countries can enrich this technical file as well and request that the executive directorship of CITEL to include their information and promote the contributions to this file. Do you have any questions about this or comments? Yes? I would like to add the fact that we want the support of some of the companies of radio broadcasting and TV, so that part of these contents that are being reviewed could be distributed free of charge in the countries where we can have this agreement. And this is another scope, more than the technical one. And we have already talked to some potential radio and TV broadcasting stations to help us with this decision. Thank you. Thank you, Technical Secretary. Do we have any comments? No comments. So now we're going to see document 38 and 36. This document 3836 is a proposal by Peru for the elaboration of a table of contents or an index. 3836 review 3. Let's go to the resolve. Basically, this document was submitted in 3 parts. It was a study of 62 pages long that contains a review of the indexes that exist or indicators that exist now on the broadband in the region. And it includes access, institutional strengthening, indexes related to penetration of the broadband. And so the purpose after the review in the literature is to synthesize in one single indicator the development or results that were reached on the broadband in the region. And this should be identified with the goals of CITEL. This index project has 2 parts. One is a tool policy index that compiles, for instance, the fact that the country has or does not have a broadband regulation or a regulation of service quality or a regulation of OMBs. All these things are linked to policies, linked to the broadband. This is an index that is in this document. The other index is related to performance indicators, levels of penetration in the mobile and fixed broadband, quality levels, access levels in tariffs, and besides having an index that can reflect the reality and the complexity of the broadband services, can also be used as an index for easy construction, because we have made a questionnaire that we have added here that will allow it to make this index that could be conceived as a pilot at the beginning. We hope that this pilot, after its distribution, it could present its first outcomes in the CP1 meeting in August this year. So the result basically is to request the member states to fill the questionnaire and to ask the secretary to distribute the questionnaire together with the annex, and ask the recapitulation of the information with the results of the questionnaire, and submit these results of the pilot study in the 30th meeting. Probably we're going to have many things to adjust in this index, but what we want is to start seeing the first results of this indicator. This is the decision project, so I submit it to your consideration. Just clarify, Mr. Chair, the scope of the resolve. It's clear that we'll have a questionnaire, but the parameters to make this index are being approved now, or because there are some questions, and this is, we did not really participate personally in this rapporteurship of broadband, but there are some questions that are very important, but they are not linked to broadband, like BNO, neutrality of networks, that are aspects that are not directly linked to the development of the broadband. So my question is, are we going to make these considerations right now or after? I think, I don't know if we have an additional comment, but I think that we're in time to add the comments of Uruguay. That's the purpose of the plenary, and make all the adjustments necessary, and also express the reasons that led Peru to state these indexes. As I said at the beginning, we have some indicators that are not performance or development, but rather policy tools. In this case, they're conceived like tools, the fact of having policies that promote competition, like the virtual or portability mechanisms. And so, if there are any comments, I would invite the delegation of Uruguay to coordinate this topic with Peru. Peru, thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I want to thank the working groups and the rapporteurship of broadband and economic issues, because it was presented already in two rapporteurships, and we have seen that it has been well received, because it has many contributions of the delegations of Mexico and the Dominican Republic, and not only to enhance or improve or refine the document, but also add some questions that are considered important. And now we have 20, we were going to have 21 questions, but we ended with 24. And as we said to the chair, this is a kind of input product, as economists say, because we have a sub-product that relates outputs and inputs, and the inputs have to do with the tools and policies. And we have collected a variety of tools, some specific like concrete assistance to broadbands or subsidies, and some general ones that have to do with the promotion of competition and the policies to approve competition, like portability. To the extent that a dynamic market is a market with effective competition regulations, this can accelerate the development of products or subs. The idea of the questionnaire is to be accessible for all the member states that will respond. And the objective is also for CITEL, in this first pilot, to start developing its own indicators and to give more content to our working group. And besides being open to talk with Uruguay, another issue is that Jorge saw the document, and the document says that it is associated to the economic rapporteurship. We have to make a correction, because now the document is part of the broadband rapporteurship, and it's part of section 4.2. And another observation is that in the resolve of we could say that we task the delegation of Peru and not the rapporteurship of economic issues, because now it's not the same rapporteurship. So what I would propose is Uruguay to meet with Peru so that we can have a review 4 of this document in order to be able to process or discuss it in the next plenary. Is that okay with you? Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I want to reiterate the persons that have worked so well in this document. My regrets, because we are a small delegation and we cannot be in two places at the same time. I don't know, these would be the four documents that were mentioned by the chair of the working group of development. Do we have another document? Yes, sir. They did not put two documents that are very simple. That's a document 3883. It's 6 o'clock, and I don't know if we'll have the tolerance from our interpreters another day. I regret to, let's ask the secretariat if we have access to the interpreters. Mr. Chair and the other working groups, in these 2 days that are still missing, we have to be strict with the time because interpreters overtime generates costs for our hosts. So we appreciate if we can comply with the deadlines. So let's say that we have a budgetary restriction. So we're going to conclude with this plenary, and the documents of the other rapporteurships, well, the documents that are still missing will be seen during the next plenary. We want to thank you all for your work. I think that we advanced quite a lot. And then we are going to define the other topics during the next plenary. And the chair and vice chair of groups, please meet in room 11 to coordinate the agenda for tomorrow. Thank you.